Welcome to the Radiant Citadel, a city of stories and sanctuary built by 27 different ancient civilizations as a hub to several different lands of adventure. It's a miraculous city in the ethereal plane built on hope and the promise of excitement and new adventures around every corner. What's up, baby bards? I'm Anne Richmond, aka Heartsinger, the head bard in charge round these parts, and today's video is sponsored by the Kobold plushies Kickstarter from the Gallant Goblin, launching April 12th. More on that later, because now we are going to be talking about the upcoming book from Wizards of the Coast, D&D's Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. This is a new anthology adventure book for levels 1 to 14, and it features a totally new setting. We are welcome to a floating city in the ethereal plane, built on the fossilized remains of some gargantuan creature no one remembers that managed to wrap itself around a huge crystalline structure called the Royal Diamond. The city's layout is inspired by Indian rock-cut architecture. Surrounding the city is a constellation of 15 different gemstones called the Concord Jewels, and each of the gems that you see is connected to a different location on the material plane. They serve as gateways to one of the city's 27 different founding civilizations. This allows for rapid transport to and from the Citadel, but 12 of those gemstones are missing, and their locations are still unknown. Ajit George, the design co-lead on this book, said that this was done intentionally to allow dungeon masters the freedom to place one of these Concord jewels wherever it makes sense for them. So if you're running a homebrew game or a campaign from an established Dungeons & Dragons book, you can easily arrive at the Radiant Citadel to take on one of the adventures there, or use it as a waypoint between two different varied locations within your adventure. Much like the previously released Candlekeep Mysteries, the Radiant Citadel will play an important role in each of the standalone adventures in the book. However, they can encourage your players to travel to a multitude of different worlds. Whether you're looking for a one-shot or an adventure that can be played over a few sessions, or you just want to play through every single adventure in the anthology, this book has something for everyone. And it is the first book entirely written by people of color in Wizards of the Coast's 50-year history. Before we dig into any more lore about the upcoming Radiant Citadel book, I want to hear a little bit more about our sponsor from my new friend Flambe. Let's take a look at the Kobold plushies Kickstarter. Take it away, Flambe!
Can you hear it? The sound of my 6 multicolored cohorts clawing their way into your heart? Hi, I'm Flambe, the herald of the upcoming Kobold plushies Kickstarter from the Gallant Goblin. Collect me and 5 other 10-inch tall Kobold plushies with swappable accessories and clothing, hoods, shields, swords, harps, tomes, and jackets. We got it all, baby. Pledge for extras, like collectible pins and the official gold Gallant Goblin inspiration coin. Ooh, shiny. Mark your quest log for the Kobold plushies Kickstarter on April 12th at noon ET. What's ET? Sign up at the link in the info section below to get a reminder when we're available and receive a 5th edition Kobold encounter featuring yours truly and all of my friends when you pledge.
Alright, let's get back to the ethereal plane. Now, unlike other urban centers in D&D, the Radiant Citadel wasn't designed to be a wretched hive of scum and villainy. No, this is a place of hope and respite. It's described as a place to regroup and rebuild after parties face the worst and most tragic challenges. Because the Radiant Citadel occupies this liminal space full of all of this energy and light, it is the perfect place for a new character to join the party. After all, they could easily come from anywhere, and then this new player, whether it's somebody who's re-rolled after experiencing character death or literally a new player joining your already existing party, everybody can get together and experience one of these new adventures together and really set the tone for whatever the new dynamic is going to be before returning to the weight and gravitas and mountain of lore that goes along with a long-term adventure. And as a GM, I love the tremendous freedom that this is going to create. You basically can travel down any spoke of a wheel to the center and then out the other side. You could be in Eberron, you could be in Theros or Ravnica. Any new setting is just one blip away. You can easily avoid having to commit everybody to a single theme for the entire length of a campaign. There are a ton of awesome people working on this book, but I do want to talk about two in particular. Number one is Serena Marie, who was a previous member of the Rivals of Waterdeep show and also is the current product marketing manager for Critical Role. She wrote the Level 1 adventure, and this adventure introduces players to the Radiant Citadel itself, so you won't be traveling somewhere else, I don't believe, but it's inspired by her mother's Thai origins, and it's called Salted Legacy. This is the story of two rival families eking out a living in the vibrant night market on the Radiant Citadel, and it invites players into sort of a more intimate setting to start off, so they won't have to worry about saving the world just yet. The themes of this tale are family and loyalty with a little bit of reality TV cooking show thrown in there, and it invites people to engage with the more theatrical aspects of the game, whether that includes an actual play cast who wants to engage with the Radiant Citadel, or you have a bunch of new players who are learning to roleplay. There's really a great gateway game for them in the Salted Legacy. Now, I mentioned earlier that the Radiant Citadel has gateways to several different founding civilizations, which means you should be able to visit totally new worlds, and they do deliver on that. If you're looking to adventure with your party in a completely new world, try Written in Blood by Aaron Roberts. In this adventure, you go to a new region called God's Breath, inspired by the American South. Travel through Nightwater Cove, inspired by the Louisiana Bayou, or visit the port town of Promise, inspired by urban centers of the South, or maybe you want to take a quest into the swath of rural land known as the Ribbon, where farmers are pressing into new territory and stirring up uncommon supernatural enemies. There are tons of colorful characters that players can interact with on this journey, but most of note to me is Tungsten, a proclaimer. This is sort of a mixture of cleric and bard, whose calling is to enshrine the tales of heroes into a sacred oral history called the Awakening Song. I mean, proclaimers? What? Subclass when? I need it. Pre-order is available now for Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, and the book releases on June 21st, 2022. There is a lot of info coming out about the book, interviews with different authors. You should go, you should read them. I'm going to be collecting a whole list of them that I use to research this video and putting them on my Patreon and in my Discord. If you want to check out the link to either of those things, it is in the info section below. If you loved this video, please by all means give it a like, subscribe, come back for more every single week. We delve into all sorts of tabletop RPG goodness, not just Dungeons & Dragons. So there is a lot to love, I like to think. And of course, thank you to our sponsors, The Gallant Goblin. Go check out the Kobold Plushies Kickstarter starting on April 12th. I'll see you on the next quest. Bye! Hear me out. What if one of the Concord jewels leads to the world between worlds from Star Wars, and that way you not only have access to the entire fantasy multiverse in D&D lore and magic lore, but now you have access not just to all of Star Wars, but all of space and time in Star Wars, and oh my god, is Yoda a goblin? Holy f***!